welcome everyone to the video, to the live. And in this live, we are going to go over more systems and more tasks about the prototyping of the game. And as before, I want almost every kind of system that exists in my game to be created inside the prototype, and I want the prototype to feel like an entire game, just not visually appealing. Okay, so I want every kind of functionality that a proper game will have, but not that visually attractive. Okay, that is the definition for prototyping according to me. Okay, that's the main stuff. After that, if we look into the prototyping of a game, there are many things that we have to do. So I have made this chart over here, and I'm actually going to put all kind of tasks that I have and that I have to do in future right here, and if needed, I can edit them as long as we want, as long as I want, and just keep it up, keep it editing, I guess. But more than anything, we have all these kind of phases just inside the prototype, and then we have demo and final build. So I do need some place where I can see all of the tasks that I have to do. But if you see over here, we have the core systems, which means what are the core mechanics that this game will have. First of all, it's going to have the locomotion that we completed. So let me just check it by going over here and a green one. So the locomotion is done. The interaction system mostly is done. There is a thing between the interact and live system. I want to make switches. Okay, so we have to make switches. Let me just do that. So the switches are left. Switch able lights. Okay, they are the only one that is left. The whole inventory system is still under I don't even have, like, I don't have a visual inventory system yet, so I have to still work on that. And then we have the stretch system, save system, and menu system. I think the menu system is mostly done, and yeah, I don't think we have to work more on it. Just gamepad controls. Gamepad controllable. CONTRO control. Okay, so we need to include gamepad control inside the menus of inside the whole game basically, and I still haven't done that. So for today, okay, let me just make a new page over here. This is going to be our today task. Today's task, and we have many tasks. First of all, I'm going to make the switchable lights, so let's just do that. So first one, switchable, oh my god, switchable lights. Okay, and the other thing that I have to do is going to go over inside the save game system. So I will be building the save game today, save game system today. Save game system. Then the last thing that I think I will be doing in today's live is going to be, I think, yeah, the display system. Some of the display thing I have to fix. Display menu, let's say. Okay, so I have to include the display menu inside the options menu, and I have to do the save game system, and I am going to do the switchable lights today. If I have time and I have energy to do more work, I will choose more work, but for now I have only these things. Gamepad control, I might work on gamepad control as well, but not the today task. If I have energy, I will do it. Okay, so let's hop on to the game and let's see what we can do. So same as the interaction system where we pick up something, and for now it just sends a signal to our player that, hey, we just picked up something, and that something is a battery or is it a key. And after we have picked it up and after we have done the initial message and event according to that, we destroy the object and that is it. But in case of a switchable light, we have to make it so that the interaction when we are doing it transfers to another object that exists in the world, and it turns on and off that object, and also it doesn't destroy the interactive object. Okay, so it doesn't destroy this cube, but this cube, when we interact with it, turns on a light somewhere inside the world. Okay, so let's do that. And we're going to go inside unlit so we can see the inside of our bunker, and then we're going to start working on it. So first of all, we need the actor files. So we're going to go inside world actors, make a new folder called lights. And now we're going to make a blueprint class called actor, and we can call this switch. Double click to open it up, and inside the switch, again, this is going to be simple cube for now, or maybe a sphere. Yeah, let's change it up a bit, and I'm going to include a sphere this time. Okay, and this is going to be 0.2 in all of them, and it's going to be interactable. Okay, so that is kind of it. Let me just move the sphere in x-axis a bit, and then the interactable to be somewhere here, and we want this interactable to be on the outside of the wall so that we can actually see it, so the visibility will be better, basically. Okay, so we have a sphere and it needs a text, so we're going to make a display text lights light switch, and we're going to make it tooltip text, but yeah, let's make a tooltip text. Is it on or off? Okay, It's going to differentiate between these two options, and it's going to also have hover of 100, and then key to be simple key, press, and then simple interaction widget. And then we're going to get the on interact, and let's start working on it. But before we start working on the switch itself, we actually have to work on the light element. So we're going to make an actor which is going to treat as the light, and open it up. Now you can have different type of lights. Okay, it can be a point light, it can be a spotlight, or any kind of light that you want. So we're going to add and call it as light. Okay, and as you can see, we have different kind of lights here: point light, react, sky, or spotlight. Mainly you will either use the point light or you will use the spotlight. I'm going to use the point light for the basic prototyping, and then we can have anything else when we start building the world. Okay, so the intensity and the radius, everything is going to be just as it is. We're just going to go inside the construction script and set these values. So first of all, we can just set intensity. Okay, double T. Okay, first of all, we're going to set the intensity, and then we're going to set radius, the attenuation radius. And the reason why we are doing this is because, first of all, this will be a variable now which we can change and also access somewhere else than the light itself. And also we have a editable radius, so basically promote to a variable in both of them. And instead of the new intensity and radius, I'm going to actually call this just radius and just intensity. Okay, and make both of them instance editable. After that, I'm going to go over to the switch and add a element called switching actor. Okay, in this relation though, you can actually switch anything. It doesn't have to be a light, it can be a operatable door or something like that. But for now, we're just creating a switch actor, and we're going to make this a light object for now. Maybe yeah, for now, let's just make it switch actor, switch light actor actually. So I'm going to call this light actor, which is going to be a type of light, this one, and object reference. Also make this instance editable so that we can choose it when we are in the world. And in the construction script, we're going to get the light actor, we're going to get intensity, and then we're going to set the intensity. Wait a minute, not like this. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be over here. So light actor, and we're going to get the intensity. So some of the light actors may be turned on by default, so this intensity can be different. So if the intensity is equal to 0 or not equal to 0, that means that we can change the tooltip text. So set text, this tooltip text, and we're going to select it. Select string based on this. So if it is 00, then we're going to say it's off, or maybe turn on. Or if it's B, which means which means the light is turned on, and we want to turn it off. So it's going to show turn off. Okay, and now if we put both of them in the world, so we put light and we put switch, and let's play from here. And as you can see over here, we have the light switch, and it says turn on. That means the light is actually turned off. So we can interact with this, and then the light, which is somewhere over here, will turn on. Okay, so let's make that happen. So over here in the switch, when we interact with something, when a actor or when a player interact with the switch, we get the light actor, and from here we're going to run a custom event. Okay, and we're going to make that custom event right here. Custom event turn on light. Okay, and now we're going to get the point light and set intensity to be something like 6,000. Yeah, so the light intensity, the new intensity, is going to be 6,000, and it's going to happen on turn on light, or maybe toggle light. This should be called toggle light. Toggle light, and it's going to have a input that we can get. Do we want to turn it on, or do we want to turn it off? And based on this input, we're going to switch select float, and if you want to turn it on, which means A, it's going to be 600 and 6,000, and if you don't want it to turn on, that means B is going to be false. Okay, compile, save. Also in the construction script, we're going to right click over here and promote to a variable, and we're going to call this on or off. Okay, kind of similar looking nodes, but they do completely different thing. This on tells us is the light off or not. Okay, and this on tells us if we want to turn on the light off or not. Okay, so now let's go inside the event graph, and we're going to get the on, get on, and now we're going to make the branch, and if we interact and the light is, let's say, off, yeah, this is kind of buggy, so we're going to call it off. Okay, so the light, if the light is off, that means this is 0 0, that means that we want to turn it on. If the light is off, we want to turn it on. If the light is on and this is false, then we want to turn it off. Okay, So we're going to grab the light actor and we're going to call for, what was it? Uh, Toggle light, this one. Okay, in true we want to turn it on, and in false we want to turn it off. Okay, again this on is for turning the light on, and if we disable it, that means it will turn the light off. And over here we want to turn it on if we are on true, and we want to turn it off if we are on false. Then also we're going to change these values depending on it. So if it's true, we want to turn it off, and if it's false, then we want to make it true. Nice. And the target is light actor. The other thing though that we want to change is this tooltip text. Okay, so we're going to grab this, just this, I guess, maybe this one. Copy, go to event graph, paste it over here, and then we're going to check. Okay, so we want the turn on to appear when the light is off, right? So if the light is off, that means it's true. Which one it should follow? Yes, it's this one. It's the off. So we're going to just grab the off and put it over here. Okay, so let's test it out. So now they're actually outside. Let's open up the door. We need a key. Then we can walk inside, and there is a switch right over here. And now if I try to interact with this, as you can see, it says to turn off. So the code is working, right? But the light is not turning on and off. Now that's the problem. Also, the light is actually pretty above. Oh, because the radius is really small. We will not be able to see it if the radius is that small. Let me interact with it again. Again, not working. Okay, so we have an error in the toggle light. What exactly is the error? Access try none, trying to read the property light actor. No, oh yeah, we haven't specified which light actor do we want to change, because there can be different light actor, and that is the reason why I included it as the instance editable. So what we're going to do is go over to this none and select this particular light that we have. And now if we do it, it turns it on, and we can do it as many times as we want, and this will turn the light on and off according to the switch. Nice. Okay, so now the basic light system is done. Let's put it somewhere over here so that the switch basically lit up the whole area. Okay, let's see how well lit does it actually make it. So this is the normal flashlight, so we do need to compare it to this. And if we go over here, turn it on, it's pretty dim. It's probably because of the intensity. Okay, we might be able to change that. And we can change that by going over to the light, wherever it is, over here. And we can change the intensity right over here. And yeah, so not exactly this, I guess. Let's put it over here, and let's put, yeah, not really going to work. So we need to make a new variable, and this cannot be instance editable, and this is going to be the S intensity, short for switchable intensity. And this intensity will determine how bright will the light be when we switch it. Okay, and this is going to be a instance editable. Compile, save everything, and now we're going to set it to something like 40 or 30,000. Now let's debug it. Okay, over there. It's much brighter. It is much brighter than what we had before. Still not that good, but now we can change it however we want it. Nice. Okay, and there is one more thing that I need to change in the light, and that is going to be that sometimes it does says stationary over here. So we need to make sure that it is either movable or static. Okay, most of the things are done. I think the switchable lights is completed. So we're going to use the green and enable it. Okay, switchable lights has been completed. Let me just place it over here, kind of on the wall, so it looks like a switch. All right, something like this, and kind of move it up a bit. Okay, nice. And now we can go back to the being lit, and now we need to work on the save game system, and then we can build upon it as long as we want and as further along that we want to go for. So while working on save game system, we have to go over a few things. Let me show you. So first of all, where is my cursor? Okay, over here. So first of all, we have a save game blueprint. Okay, and this save game blueprint, basically what it does, it access a file. Okay, it have a access yeah, it have a access to the file inside your own system. Okay, so when you create a save game system or any kind of save game, or whenever you save game in any kind of game, it have a file that is like something like slot or the game, right? Slot or game.sav, right? And this save game basically contain all kind of data that a developer has specified the game to mention or to show the or to mention or store in the player. Okay, let me just give it one. Just give me 1 second. I need to check something. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't really know. Okay, so you sure. Okay. So we have a save game blueprint that have access to this save game file. Okay. And what it generally does is when we run a specific event to save the game data, it gets all kind of data that we want to save and it sends to that file and it saves it physically inside the hardware. Yeah. So it's no longer inside the memory but in the hard drive. And when we want to load the game, or let's say someone continues the game from where they left off, this save game blueprint basically get all of that save data and send back to the blueprint. It also occurs when we are switching between two levels. Okay, so let's say that we have two levels. Also because we created the main menu as a level and then the gameplay as another level. In between these things, the engine and the game loses everything. Okay, so let's say that you set it the mouse sensitivity that we set it before to be 100 here. Okay, and you change the level, you start playing the game. The 100 that you set it over here is no longer registered in the memory. Okay, as soon as you open up a different level, now it uses the default memory or default mouse sensitivity that we set it while making the game. Okay, so let's say it transferred it from 50 to 100, then as soon as we transfer it, it's going to fall back to 50. Okay, that's what exactly happening here. So we need a basic file that's going to stay same. Okay, we need a file that is going to say no, the new mouse sensitivity is 100 now, so we need to have 100 over here, so it overrides the default value to be the existing value which it thinks in, is inside the system. Okay, so that is the work of the save game system, and that is also going to happen when we move from the game to the main menu or exit the game and then come back to the game after some time. Okay, it's going to happen all of the time. But even then, the save game blueprint only have the game save data or whatever. It only have access to it. The save game blueprint in itself is not really a it's not really the file that you need to have. Like this is not a blueprint that is going to be acting as a file that you can access anytime and it's going to have all of the data. No, it's just a way to access this save game file, and it's also a way to have all of the variables that we need to save inside a specific blueprint. Okay, what exactly is going to behave as this file holder though is going to be our game instance. Okay, this specific program or this specific object in our game is going to stay as long as you open up the game and till you close the game. Okay, so as soon as you click on the exe file on your desktop to start playing the game, this game instance is the first thing that is going to open up, and start loading in all of the save game data and start changing these default values, and it's going to stay till you quit or exit your game. Okay, so this is the first thing that open up, and it's the last thing that closes when you close the game. So what exactly do we want to do in this case is that we want to create both of these objects. So first of all, we're going to go inside project files, systems, and we're going to create a new folder for save game. And we're going to create a new file inside the blueprint, all classes, and we're going to call for game instance. Okay, this is going to be the game instance, simple game instance, select, and we're going to call it beep gi ama. Okay, and now we're going to go inside edit, project settings, and set this game instance to be our default instance. So over here inside the game instance class, we're going to choose GIAMA. You can rename it as however you want, and then we're going to open it up. Now the other thing that we want in the save game system is going to be our blueprint class and save game. This one, select, and we're going to call this BP blueprint save game object. Okay, so now we have two of these, and we're going to start building some variable. So right now I'm just going to save the mouse sensitivity so that we can have a workable menu rather than just a normal menu that exists in the world. Okay, so what we're going to do is add X sensitivity, sensitivity, and Y sensitivity. Duplicate Y sensitivity. Okay, though there is a way that you can minimize all of these variables that we're going to create here, but I myself doesn't like that feature. And the way that you can do, let me just show you, is you can go over to your save game folders, you can right click, create a new folder, and it's going to have all of these structures, STRU structures. Okay, and all of these structures can have this structure object, and it can be something like accessibility, and all of the values that you may or may not change inside the accessibility menu is going to exist over here, like the mouse sensitivity for both variables. Then maybe that some guy have or some kind of eye correction, like color disability, so you might need color correction and stuff, so you might add a variable for that, on what kind of selection that person chose, and all of these things can be over here, right? And then you can add this particular structure as a variable over here, like accessibility, right? This one. And then you can access all of those variables that exist inside this structure as a complete, like, compact data list or something. though it is a really good thing, and it compresses all of the variables and it increases the readability. It causes some errors, and those errors particularly happen when you have a structure already created and you created systems for it and you saved everything, but then you went back to the structure and maybe you added one more accessibility menu inside, one more accessibility option inside your menu, and now suddenly everything break. Your game will not build itself, and somehow this game save game object is not reading this particular accessibility menu. So yeah, a lot of things goes wrong with this, so I'm just going to use simple variables and then use categories to choose between them. Okay, so I'm going to close that and then set these values over here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go inside GME. Oh, first of all, we need two custom events. One is going to go for get value, and one is going to be for save value. Save value. Okay, let's put both of them over here, and maybe for this one we can get both of these things as the save game and stuff. Okay, so inside this say get value and save value, we're going to this is weird. Okay. Let me first do this over inside here. So we need a load game from slot. So we have this node, and then we have save game to slot. Okay, and then we have a save game object. And when we do this, whatever the variable values that exist inside this save game object will be saved to this slot. So this is what actually happening. Okay, maybe we don't need these events. Okay, so inside the game instance, right? We're going to get this save game slot and do stuff. Okay, so first of all, we're going to have an event, custom event, save game. Okay, and this save game is going to have a input for our x. Oh no, this is not going to have anything. Wait a minute, this is not going to have anything. Okay, so we're going to firstly save game. Okay, oh my god. Okay, so this save game event runs when we want to save game to a specific slot, right? And we also firstly want to know if does this whatever the slot that we want to make even exist. Okay, so we need to make a does save game exist. Okay, and then we're going to have a slot name which we can promote to a variable. This is going to be our basic slot name, and you can make it anything. I'm going to call this game save. Okay, so game save is my save game slot, and over here we're going to check does this save game slot exist. If it's true, then we want to save game to the slot this slot, or if it's false, then we want to create save game object. Okay, and over here we're going to select the class to be BP save game object. Promote this to a variable. This is going to be our BP save game or save game, basically just save game. And also over here we're going to get this. So if we have a save game existed inside our slots, and if we have a save game exist inside our system, then we're going to access our save game object and our slot, and then we we save all of the variables that exist inside the save game into it. Okay, but if it doesn't exist, then we're going to create a save game object, and then we're going to save game to that slot after that. Okay, so that is it for the save game. Now we're going to move on to the load game. Load. Okay, first of all, custom event load game, and this is going to be going over here, and this slot name is going to be the same name. Again, before we do this, we have to search does save game exist, because if it doesn't exist, how we can even access it? Okay, and now if you see over here, the return value, actually this return value have a save game object basically. Okay, so whatever the save game object we saved in here in the save event, we're going to receive that particular save game object. Okay, so if you hover over it, as you can see, this is a save game object reference. So we need to set this save game object reference to be this one. Oh, we cannot do that. Okay, and maybe from here, what can we get? Okay, I might need to search. This is kind of weird. I might need to search. Okay, it opened up on another page. How to save game and load blueprint. Okay. So we do have videos on it, which is good. But let's go with Unreal Engine form and let's see if we can get something done with this form over here. So in order for the action, we need the player turns on light. Player quits the game, restart the game, like that. Okay, so we have this basic system. Okay. Okay. So we check, does this save game exist? And then we, okay. Does this exist? If the save game doesn't exist, what? Why is he doing it twice. Okay. Too weird. Okay, let's work with a simple variable. Okay, we're not even working with the we're not working with sensitivity even now. So let's go with the event graph, wherever it is. Okay. Okay, so we want to press a key. Okay, and let's say that when we press H, yeah, so when we press H, we want to save the game, and that save game will particularly have a value inside it. Okay, and that variable is going to be my number. Okay, and this is going to be integer. We're going to put it over here. The default value to this integer is going to be 5, and every time we press H, what I want to do is change this my number value from 5 to +1. Okay, so whenever I press H, I want to increase this value. So let's go over here and add 1 to it. Okay, so right now that the number is 5, whenever I press H, it will be 6. And what I want to do is that I want to save this change inside my save game, and then I want to get this save game when I play the game. Okay, so let's do that. So load game, save game exist, then we have save game slot, user index, and what do we actually get from here? Can we break it? No. What we can do, save game to slot, save and loading, async save game to slot. Okay, let's also make a new variable called my number. It's going to be a type integer. Okay, so what we're going to do is come back to our our sandbox character. Then we're going to get our game instance. Okay, then we're going to get save where was it? Game save? What was it? Save game. Save game. Yeah, this one. Why we are not getting the okay. Get save game instance, cast to GIAME, and then we're going to get the save game and set value of our number. Okay, so set my number, this thing, to be whatever the number this is. Okay, and then we're going to, after this, we're going to call for the event save game. Okay, this one over here. So now what is actually happening is that I'm saving this my number, whatever this number is, every time I press H inside this blueprint, this save game blueprint. Okay, and once I have my integer inside this save game blueprint or whatever, then I'm running this save game, which will save all of the values that exist inside our save game file to a slot inside our hard drive, if everything works nicely. So that's it. And also I'm going to at begin play begin play. Do we not have begin play? I don't think. No, I don't think we have begin play over here. So we need to go back to our CBP sandbox character, and when we have done this particular thing, then we're going to get from here and call for get game instance, load game, not this one, just basically load the game, load game from slot. Why? What? Does it not need anything else? Let me check that again. How is he loading the game? It doesn't say anything. Okay. Over here, he loads it, then he casts to the save game, and he returns it as that. Okay. But let me just check it. So first of all, we need to say, does save game exist? Okay, of course it's going to do all of those things. Let me go over here, and yeah, over here, right, we need to cast to BP save game object, and then after this we need to do what? Yeah, we need to make this the save game. Yeah, compile, save, and now again say get game instance, then cast to BP, no, GIAME, okay, and after that we're going to drag from here, and we're going to call for load game, and after the load game we're going to again and get save game, the variable, this one, and from here we're going to get my number, and then we're going to set my number to be this number. And now we're going to see if this works. So firstly, we have to press H. Well, it doesn't print it, so, and we have errors. So blueprint access, try running property my number. This one. Yeah, it should only work when what? My number event graph executable character server log 10, and then runtime error trying to read property save game my number again in this one, which doesn't exist. Okay, I might not do this today. I still need to learn about saving the game and loading the game, so this needs to happen not today. This cannot happen today. Okay. Save game pending. I don't want to waste my time on this, so I'm going to just put it on hold and then work on it after we get something with this. Let me just move it over here. Okay. Doesn't feel good, but you have to do this so that live is more productive than me just bashing my head around it and not being able to work. Okay, so now we need to work on the display menu. Is there anything else? So I'm not doing the save system today and probably the stretch system, but it needs the narration to be good, and the light system is done. The gamepad control. Yeah, let's add gamepad control to it. Okay. Adding gamepad control to it. Adding gamepad control to it. How to add gamepad control to GUI widgets. To add gamepad control to the widgets, you need to enable gamepad navigation and manage focus and handle button presses within your widget blueprint. First, ensure that the mode input is game and UI or UI only for the gamepad input, and then the set keyboard focus node on the widget, like the moving directional gamepad. Okay. So inside, not there. So what we exactly need to do is inside the widgets. Let's first do it with the pose menu. Okay. So over here, when we create the pose menu, we create the input mode to be UI only. So instead of that, we want to make it set input mode to be game and UI. Okay. And hide cursor during capture. Do not look. And set widget to focus. The focus is going to be the resume. Nice. Okay, let's try it out. So if you press L, okay, so it does work. We do have like interactability going between these game. It's not exactly through the gamepad, it's still the keyboard, and also the game is working behind the scenes. which is not good, but I mean we can stop the character movement some way. Okay, so we have functionality, and if we press enter, we do get inside some options, and we still have this thing going on. Okay, so how we can change it? Now, if we go back to the designer, and if we go back to any button at all, we have style, and we have normal, hovered. So right now, if we go back here and press L, as you can see, it becomes lighter than the original value. But when we do it with the keyboard, it just have a blue icon, like blue outline outside of it, and I don't even think that you guys can even see it. So not a great way to do it. Remove this and put it over here. Okay, so how we can change it? Pressed, forward, color and opacity is focusable. Click method, touch method, press method, override behavior, navigation, left, escape, right, up, down, next, previous, localization. Okay. So I don't know where to get it. You also have press sound and hovered sound. I didn't even have to like do anything over here. We already have that sound option over here. I got color and opacity, background color, hovered, foreground, normal foreground, hover foreground, and press foreground. Is this foreground the one that we get inside the player menu? Let's see. So if we go back to the L, and if we go over here, no. Okay, so this is not the one that we need, and so what can we do? What can we do? Let's see what else do we have here. So first we need to set the input mode. We did that. Then we want to make the focus. Use set keyboard focus node to give initial focus to the widget element. And you can retrieve the reference to the widget element like a button, set keyboard focus, gamepad, widget. I think I also so many things that I have to study about. My god. Okay, another subject that I need to study. So is that only today's task? I think it should be today's study. Let's take it. So today's study list. Study list. The first thing that we need to study is the First thing we need is the gamepad control. Control, just one control. Second thing we need is the what was it? Yeah. It was this save game system. Okay, so the second thing we need to learn is the save game system. I don't even know why I selected it. I did do save gaming bit before, and I thought I can do it again, but it was so long I cannot even remember why I did it, let alone how I did it. Right, sorry about that. My mic just went offline. Okay, so right now we have these core systems. Okay, let me put it back. Send back. How we send it back? What? What? We cannot take these. Anyways, uh, they doesn't matter. Okay, so mostly the locomotion is done, and mostly the interact is done. The inventory is done. The light system is done. It's just the stress system, save system, and menu system, right? And we're going to learn about the main save system in the next slide. Okay, so I will learn about it today, and then I will showcase you how you can do it and how you can save your particular game in the next video or in the next slide. Okay, and about the main system, menu system, we only need to have the display, no, not the display, but the gamepad control. Other than that, we have the basic menu working for us. Okay, there might be some things like links to other platform, but that comes when I will be launching the prototype for testing and stuff. For now, I also don't have to worry about that. What I can do though, and what I can change in this particular live stream, so it doesn't be this much ah, um, depressing. So what I can change is the display menu that we talked about, right? Our task has three things: the display menu, the light system, and the save game. Save game didn't happen, but we can do the display menu. So let's go to the options and then display. And over here we have the display section, but we don't need it. What we need is a size box and stuff, right? So we're going to delete this. We're going to, which one we have? Yeah, the accessibility. So we're going to right click on this and firstly make this display to be 1, right? And then we're going to go back to the WBI accessibility, and then we're going to go over to duplicate, and we're going to duplicate it to be WBI display. Okay, and now we're going to delete this and replace the reference to be display, this one. Okay, save selected. Why did I do that though? And the reason why I did that is so that I have this basic structure of option working for us, and so that all of the options stays kind of streamlined. Okay, so let's go over to the mouse sensitivity and let's change it to be display size. Okay, and we can have other thing which can be for FPS lock. Okay, and even though we have all of these things, if we go to graph, we can access many other things other than these, just these two stuff. One thing that we do need is go to style. We still have any? No, we don't. But we will have in buttons though. So now we're going to get a combo, and combo is basically a type of drop-down menu which contains multiple values for us to use. Okay, so we're going to get the combo box, and it's going to be type of string. I'm going to put it over here and delete this and this and this and this. Also, this is going to be over here. Then we're going to select both of these, and the fill in this one is actually going to be 75, and fill in these two is going to be 0.25. Okay, so now we can actually see the display size and stuff. Okay, and now we need to set a few things inside the display size and frame lock and other things. But before all of those things, and instead of the display size, how about we set the display that the player should, okay, whatever. Let's go to the graph, and as soon as you do that, we need a event graph. Okay, so we're going to go into the graph and we're going to search for game setting or game options or system settings. Okay, so the frame lock or marked frame lock. Which one was it? Options. Oh yeah, it's something like get game options or settings. Yeah, get game viewport subsystem, get game state, get game need, get game mode, get game instance, kernel ID. This is something like get game options. Oh yeah, get game user settings. This one. And this particular get game user settings have multiple things inside it. Okay, so if we grab from the return value and we search for settings, not exactly settings, but there should be system settings, this one. Okay, so inside these settings we have a lot of things that we can change or take use of. Okay, so first of all we have hardware benchmark results, known resolution settings, and then we have apply settings, video mode, and enable HDR display output to get NTLS sync quality and all kind of stuff that we can use. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to firstly get this resolution setting. Okay, not exactly like that. We're going to go over here and set resolution. Okay, and over here we can either get the screen resolution or get the recommended resolution scale, or we can get the desktop resolution. Okay, this particular desktop resolution will get whatever the desktop or monitor the player is using, and then they can basically get this and set the game resolution to be this. Okay, so we're going to get this and set screen resolution to be the desktop resolution. Okay, and that is basically it. But there are multiple types of resolution that you can have. Okay, if you go over to the internet, then you can search for get display, not the get display resolution, types, or yeah, types of display resolution. Okay, and as you can see, we have 720p, 1080p, 1440p, and so on, right? And you can also do one thing before you set it. Let's say that when we go over to the display size, right, we want this section to print whatever the display size we have, right? So we're going to get this combo box string 0, which is going to be display resolution. Also over here we're going to call it display resolution, display resolution, and then we're going to change it. What is happening? File, window, we classic layout. Okay, graph. Okay, now we're going to grab our display resolution, and then on event construct, we're going to run this. We're going to get the display resolution that we have, and then we're going to set selected index to be 0, and then we're going to set selected option to be this. So we have X value and Y value. This is basically like 920 XY, something like this. So we can basically actually do this and put it over here. So now if we play the game, press L, go to options, go to display, We should have it, but we don't see it. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Let me just make them. So inside the display resolution, we're going to create few options for us. The first option we're going to have is, let me go back. Yeah, we don't need to care about that. We're gonna have this. Do you see this canvas panel? If you increase and decrease the size, do you see all of these resolutions? This is the same thing as before. Okay, so what we're going to do, the first option is going to be 1280 by 720. Okay, so first option is 1280 x 720. Okay, the next one is going to be 920 1920 by 1080. After that, we're going to go for the bigger one, the 2560 and then 1440. So it's going to be 2560 x 1440. Okay, and as you see over here, first was 720p, 1080p, and 1440p. Okay, so it's just like that. I'm actually going to delete all of these because I cannot even select this option, let alone any other. So, and the selected option is going to be 1280 x 720. Okay, so right now, if we go to the default level and if we play the game, go to options and go to display, as you can see over here, it showcases 1280 by 720. Okay, we are not actually using it. We are just making sure that everything is working before we start doing anything else. Oh my god, why? Okay, and now what we want to do on event construct, we want to check what is our display resolution, right? Like what exactly is our display resolution? And then we're going to switch on it. First of all, break it, and then on Y we're going to get from here, and then we're going to switch on int. Start index is going to be not 0, but it's not also going to be just 0 and 1. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, so break-in point Y, we can convert it to the string, and then we're going to switch it. Switch string. Okay, and now let's say that my Y, which means the behind one, okay, is going to be the like 720, 1080 or stuff like that. So we're going to check, is the resolution of this display and the Y value of it is 720, or is it 1080, or is it 1440p? Okay, and through this value we're going to get this selected option, and yeah, not like that. Going to get it, duplicate it twice, put them over here, and put these over here. So first one is going to be 1280 by 720. Oh no, not like this. Select selected index. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So in the first one, if the 720p is going to be 0, in the next one is going to be 1, and in the last one is going to be 2. And now the target. Yeah. And now if we go play, those options, display, as you can see, it took whatever the value we have inside, like whichever display I am using, and then it put that display instead of the duality which was default. Okay, so you can also change these if you want to, of course, but for now it's pretty good. Now it is good enough, right? We changed the values, and it is going to happen for each of them, for each of the the options is going to happen the same thing. We have to set some kind of default according to the user's PC or user's recommendation. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do in this case is going to be setting these things by default, or maybe changing these things, right? So we're going to get the display resolution, and inside here we're going to go with on selection change. Okay, so when we change a selection, we're going to switch on the selection type, not this one. No. We're going to switch on here, switch on string, and it's going to be basically the same, not the same string. Okay, so in the first one it's going to be 1280 x 720. In the next one it's going to be 920 by 1080, and in the next to that is going to be 2560 x 1440p. Okay, so now if a character or if a player switches to any of these strings, right? If they switch to any of these items, or probably a selected item, then we want to set the display resolution over here. Set display resolution. Not exactly. This one over here. Yeah, get user settings. Okay, get user settings, and we're going to set display, set display name, or set display, set screen resolution. Nice. And over here we're going to split struct this. In the first one is going to be 1280 by 720. In the next one is going to be 920 by 1080. Wow. And in the next one to that is going to be 256 1440. Okay, and now let's try to test it out. This target should have connection. Okay, done. Now let's play the game. So right now, if you see over here, we have a basic window. Go over here, go to the options, go to the display, and if we select this, I don't think it changed anything, right? mean, I cannot see it. If we go back, go to the options. No. No, 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 no. Yeah, this one. I don't think anything changed. Right? Go to the menu. Oh my god. Did it? Do we make it full screen and probably make it go over here when we are playing it? Let's place F11. Okay. Now if I go to the menu, go to the options, display, and change it to, let's say, this one. Does it feel less? I don't think so. So we need to also check it, I guess. Was this get desktop resolution? Maybe not same as setting up the screen resolution, right? Maybe. uh, Today I just feel like today is not a good stream. Okay. I will do this tomorrow, I guess. I mean, it's been 1.5 hours and I'm just I haven't been able to do anything in the live right now. So yeah, we're going to do this tomorrow or maybe, yeah, we're going to definitely do this tomorrow. The only thing that is that I actually want to check few things, and that is the resolution the same thing as that. So if we just go with set resolution and we have set dynamic resolution enables, is resolution 30, recommended resolution scale, default apply resolution settings. Do we have to do this right after this? I think we do. Yeah. Okay, we have a problem. Display, yeah, we don't have connection to everyone. Go back, play it again, and let's go with 20. Go back, resume, go go back to play. L options, display. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Maybe instead of the desktop resolution, we should get screen resolution instead. Let's try out now. F11. Go back. Why I did that? Why did I did that? Okay. L options, display, and we're going to now change it to 1280 by 720. Go back, resume, go back, options, display, and now it's that. And I think it's going to stay that way if we close it and then reopen it. Yeah. So one more thing that is kind of outside of the memory, right? So if we able to go back to the main screen. Okay, so one more thing that is outside of the save game system and stuff is this get game user settings. Okay, so this setting is exist inside the system itself. It doesn't exist in the RAM. Okay, so we get it and then we save it by applying the resolution settings this way. Though I still didn't see any kind of changes in the visual, but it does change the screen resolution, which we did see. Okay, so now that we have that, let's also make the FPS lock, and after that we can close today's live because to be honest, I don't want to work anymore. Okay, so what kind of FPS, which is frame rate limit in this sense. So we're going to get the frame rate limit. So this is going to be sequence. Okay. And then we're going to get the frame rate limit. And then we're going to get the combo string. It's not going to be combo string actually. Yeah, it's not going to be combo string, but it's going to be like a meter or something, right? Yeah. Yeah, for now let's just make it so that we have a input. Text input, editable text, this one. Okay, and fill 0.25, 0.25, and this editable text, if we have a background image, tint is going to be something darker. Okay, and just none right now. Enter FPS limit 0 equals to 0 equals to stop. Okay, so this is our text, and if we click on it we can edit it and then we can like do stuff. Okay, so enter FPS limit 0 means stop, and then we're going to get that FPS limit right over here, and we're going to check what is the FPS limit. So get the editable text and set text set text editable text, and we're going to check is this equal to 0, and if it is, and we want to do it, we don't want to do anything, but if it is not 0, then we want to get this whatever it is and put that here. And so if it is 0, then we want nothing in here, but if it is not 0, then we want something in here. Okay, and after that we're going to get here and on text change. Okay, going to get this. So on text change, we're going to get game user settings, we're going to get set frame rate limit. Okay, so set frame rate limit, and it's basically going to be this one, like this. Text reference is not with fold to integer. Can we do that? To string we can do, and string to float we can do. Okay, now compile and save everything, and now that will set a frame limit for us. Let's go to the default table, play, L, options, display, click over here, set frame rate limit to be 60, back, resume. It doesn't do anything. Frame rate is still the same frame rate as before. We're going to go back, options, display. Yeah, how do we save it? We need to save this frame rate limit, which can be save settings. Yeah. Okay. So L, options, display. We're going to set it to 60. And it is still not changing, but if we go back to resume, go back to L, options, display. Okay, why it didn't say it now? We are changing it, and we are getting this frame rate limit, and if it is not equal to 0, which means it should get whatever the value here is, and then convert it to text. But we're not setting it. Yeah. Why we're not setting it? Who knows? Options, display, and over here as you can see it is 60, so frame should be logged to 60. So let's see, are they actually logged to 60? So we're going to play, and in here we're going to go over here and copy frame rate, output montage, frame rate for playing. No. What was it? Memory, show FPS or something like that. FPS. Stop. Yeah, stat FPS. Stat FPS. And now we have the FPS counter, and right now as you can see it's still 80 or something. It's not 60. It's not limiting the FPS for some reason. So what we can do, what can we do? So set the user frame rate limit. 0 will disable the frame rate limit, and target is getting user settings. Okay. Set frame rate. Frame pace. What is frame pace? How about this? Can we set it? Set frame pace. No, we can just get the frame pace. Okay, so methodically it's working, but we cannot visualize it because I don't know why. I don't know why, but we cannot visualize it. We cannot set the, maybe the frame rate limit is setting. It's just that these frame rate that we see over here, these FPS, are kind of different than what we get from a limit or something. Okay, so we don't know about that. So maybe what we can do to actually see the difference is make the frame rate to be something like 10, right? So if we go to the options, display, and set this frame rate to be 10, then we go back and resume. Is it? I don't know. Feels same to me. Okay, I will also look into this one and see you guys in the next live. Whatever happened today happened. I hope you guys got the lighting system where we switch the objects. Other than that, I don't think we were able to do anything else, but I would really like to finish the live right now and just probably study what all of these things do. Okay, so nice to see you all and catch you up in the next live. Bye bye.